When I graduated from Auburn, I started a data processing company in Gadsden. I had a large IBM computer and 25 key punch girls. We were running 2 8-hour shifts every day. At some point, I just got tired of working so much, so I bought a tennis racket. After playing tennis for a while, I ended up marrying a tennis pro at the Gadsden Tennis Complex. In order for her to be able to hold sanctioned junior tennis tournaments in Alabama, she had to have a certified referee. I had to go to Birmingham once a year and take a one-day course to become a referee. My duties were to stand by the net trying to teach 2 12-year-old girls how to keep score while they hit moonballs. I was also in charge of breaking up fights. The third year I went to Birmingham for my one-day class, the lady teaching the class, Woody Sublett, was in charge of all the tennis officials in the United States. She invited me to come to Indianapolis in 1985 to be a linesman at the U.S. Clay Court Championships. I went to Indy, got my striped shirt, and became a linesman. 1985 was the year that Boris won his first Wimbledon at 17 years of age. Boris came to Indy to play the week after Wimbledon. She put me on serve, and I thought, what am I doing here? Boris was serving over 100 miles an hour. I was seeing about 1 out of every 3 shots. After the tournament, I asked Woody Sublett if I could go to the U.S. Open, and she said, no, you've just worked one tournament. She did invite me to the U.S. Open the next year, 1986, as a linesman. In 1987, she started letting me do a couple of chairs. She sent me out to Court 25 to chair a juniors match between 2 17-year-old juniors, Pete Sampras and Michael Chang. 2 years later at the Open, 1989, she let me do the men's finals between Yvonne Lendl and Boris Becker. I was thinking, have you lost your mind? It was the biggest match in U.S. tennis. It lasted 4 hours, 45 minutes, 4-set match, Becker won. 25,000 fans in the stands and 75 million people watching on CBS. We had no electronics, just the best 10 linesmen in the world. So between 86 and 89, I worked a lot of tournaments around the United States. I was the referee for all of Auburn's home tennis matches, worked the NCAA men's finals in Athens, worked a lot of women's tournaments with Chris Everett, Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, Gabriela Sabatini. So by the time I got to the U.S. Open men's finals, I had quite a bit of experience. 3 months after the '89 U.S. Open, in January of '90, the men's tennis players started their own tour, the ATP Tour located in Ponte Vedra, Florida. The tour hired myself and 7 other chair umpires from all around the world. It was the first time that there were full-time officials. Also in '90, I started writing a computer program for the first ever handheld 11-ounce palm unit. It captured every stat for every tennis match. In January of 1991, we went live, and every men's professional tennis match in the world used my palm unit. We traveled hundreds of thousands of miles around the world each year. Every week, we had 3 different tournaments going on somewhere in the world. We all worked at 4 Grand Slams, U.S. Open, Wimbledon, French Open, and Australian Open. I've officiated in 31 different countries, doing tennis in 10 different languages: Portuguese, Spanish, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Mandarin, Hebrew, Russian, and English. Every tournament started on Monday and ended on Sunday. The following Monday morning, we were in a different country. While doing a match in Frankfurt, there was a ball boy at the base of my chair, and he was holding 2 tennis balls. I said some phrase in German. He threw the 2 balls to the ground as hard as he could. To this day, I'm still not sure what I said. I officiated hundreds of matches for John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors, Yvonne Lendl, Andre Agassi, Boris Becker. I took a leave of absence at the end of 1998 to stay at home and raise my new son, Dalton. I never went back, although I did officiate a lot of senior matches around the United States. This is my 3rd Hall of Fame, and I can tell you, it never gets old. This is such an honor to be in the same room with officials from every sport. I would love to sit down with each of you to hear how you got started in officiating. So in closing, I never set out to be a tennis official. All I did was buy a tennis racket. But I can tell you that it changed my life in a very positive way. Thank you.